Hey guys, this is one of my inventions. It's a force field underneath the ocean or a lake or any kind of water surface. This will create, in theory, a force field underneath the ocean to push away the water and have inside the dome space with no water. Pretty much you can build a dome with a mesh tubing. Basically, all this will be the tubing right here, the mesh inside, and these are just open spaces. The squares are open spaces for the outside water. So this is just a mesh of around the dome, entire dome, and it could have an optional to spin. So this dome can actually spin in concept. The only thing that attracts the water and it stops it from penetrating, it will be the static electricity. Static electricity, if you use a comb and you comb yourself on your hair, it creates static electricity in your comb, and then you open your water faucet and just a trickle, and you put the comb right next to the water in your faucet. The water will actually be attracted to the comb, so you'll see a deep curvature toward the comb, because the water is attracted toward the static electricity, positive and negative, which is also inside the water molecules, positive and negative, because of the electrons. So by creating a mesh field of tubing around the dome, the whole dome will be a mesh, and like it's just like a fishing net, pretty much. So just think of a fishing net. Except the mesh is the actual fishing net, but it's made of tubing. Is inside the tubing got air gaps, and inside the air gaps you have a dehumidifier that controls the humidity inside, so to work best for the static electricity. And then you have a static electricity advanced generator that generates static electricity inside the tubing, and that attracts the water to the surface of the mesh or the fish net, whatever we call it, pretty much. And that actually, as it spins, it creates a force field around the dome. As the dome spins, this force field is created of static electricity, attracts the water, but as it spin around it, the dome, then you have this invisible force field of static electricity starting to build on top of the dome. So like I said, you want to attract the water, but if it spins, then it creates a swirl, and you want to create that invisible gap of static electricity. And the only way to do that is by spinning. So it's just a concept. It's just one of my ideas. Like I said, it's just a hypothesis. First, you need a wire mesh tubing. Of course, inside the tubing, you have an air gap between water and static engine generator, and then you have electron storage and derived from ocean water, which there's Earth has a lot of electrons, so the water is a good source of electrons. The other one is the dehumidifier inside between air gaps, controls the humidity level for best for the static electricity to work. And then you have a more advanced static generator than the old Van de Graaff generator. Pretty much, my point is that you could easily, in theory, concept, you could create a dome that protects from the water outside, block it out from going into this air gap. And let's see if you have let's say if you have a city or something, you could actually, in theory and concept, create this invisible force field in the ocean. But of course, you got to realize this will take immense energy, in a lot of energy. So you might need a nuclear power source to operate this, because you can't really do it without a massive energy to stop the water from going through the dome. It's just a simple concept of using electricity, static electricity, to repel water. And it's not really repelling, it actually attracts the water. But if you spin it, you spin the dome, that I might actually create a buffer zone on top of the dome, and actually I'm hoping that that will actually that attracting actually might actually repel it. So, because static electricity attracts the water, but if you spin it, might do the opposite and repel the water instead of attracting it. So it's just like your blender, you know. When you put water in there, the water gets mixed with everything in there, you know, in your blender. But once you start spinning, the blades creates the moving motion and actually moves everything around. Might actually create a tiny air gap. So anyway, it's just a concept. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But static electricity is a good possibility for many inventions, from water going uphill, water going to up into a pipe against gravity. Also, it can be used for propulsion, submarines, aircraft, missiles, and without any moving parts, because static electricity will have the entire skin of a submarine to propel itself forward at high speeds, or just a bodysuit that allows a person to travel in the ocean, fly in the ocean, in the water faster than anything else. So static electricity has great potential, even to create invisible walls of water, all made of static electricity. They requires a lot of energy, of course, but static electricity is a technology that has not been tapped, that can be used for a lot of purposes, from underwater travel to speedboats, submarines, to force fields, to walls of water, you name it. Anything that the mind can create, static electricity has the potential to create all these things. But of course, you need to have you have to control the humidity inside these things, and you have to control the storage, and have a tap into electrons and all that kind of stuff, and have immense power of energy, you know, source. But all these technologies can be highly advanced. So if you have a submarine that has a lot of energy source, tap into it. The submarine can travel high speeds underneath the ocean, probably faster than anything we actually are able to travel at this point. But anyway, the technology is there, and I'd like to show you guys that this simple force field is just a starting point to a future of something else.